One of the things that I shared with you a while ago was that I work at the Cherry Street Youth Center there in Chanute, an after-school program for kids. And one of the things that I found after I began to work with kids is that kids were kind of drawn to me because of my wheelchair. That God was actually using my wheelchair to help me build relationships with these little kids that I was working with. And one of the things that I found that they liked a lot was that they liked to take rides on the back of my chair. And for those of you guys that don't know, my chair is a sip and puff chair. I would have kids come up and they would ask me lots of questions on how this thing worked. A lot of kids would think I had oxygen here to help me breathe. Some of them thought I had a jug of Kool-Aid hooked up in the back. And I could just sit here and sip Kool-Aid all day. But this is actually how I drive my chair. If I suck hard, I'll go backwards. I blow hard, I'll go forward or stop, depending upon what I'm doing. And you can see that I don't have to keep blowing. It's kind of like having your car on cruise control. The blow hard makes me go back, or blow hard makes me go forward. Even I get confused once in a while. Blow hard makes me go forward, suck hard makes me go backwards. If I want to turn, blow real soft, turn me right. Suck real soft and it'll turn left. And so the kids are real curious about that, how it worked and everything. And like I said, they love to take rides on the back. So what I would do every day, we had a driveway that was probably about as long as this church building is here. And I would get the kids and tell them I had two rules. One is that they had to wait in line, and the second was that only one kid could ride at a time. And so on this particular day, I had a little girl named Sierra riding on the back of my chair. Sierra was an ornery little thing. I'd known her for a couple years, and she used to sneak up behind me once in a while, and while I was just sitting there talking to a group of kids, she would turn the power button off on my wheelchair, and then her and her friends would just kind of stand over there beside me and giggle and wait until I tried to blow and suck at my straw and figure out that they'd done it, and they'd always, they never meant any harm by it. They'd always come back and turn the chair back on. But it's an important part of the story, as we'll find out here in a little bit. But I was giving Sierra a ride, going about 6-7 miles an hour. It's about top speed on this thing. And going down the driveway, we get about halfway down, and I noticed there's a little kindergarten girl that I'd never seen before. She obviously thought riding on my chair looked like a lot of fun, but she didn't know she was supposed to wait her turn. And so she was running across the yard from my left. Sierra was hanging on in the back there. And I thought, well, this kindergarten girl, she's kind of slow. She's probably not going to catch up with us. And I look out of the corner of my eye just to kind of make sure. I see Sierra stick her left arm out, kind of stiff arms this little girl, like a running back would. And the little girl just kind of tumbles back into the grass, and nobody's hurt, so I just keep going. I get down to the end of the driveway where there is a chain link fence gate, and I suck in my straw to stop, because that's what we always did. We just turned around right there at the gate, went back to the line, another kid would hop on. Well, I suck in my straw to stop, and nothing happens. And so we crash right through the gate, going full speed. I look back, Sierra's still in the back, and it dawns on me, Sierra knows how to turn my wheelchair off. Because I'm sitting there trying to suck in my straw to stop, and I can't steer either, I'm totally out of control. And I say, Sierra, I said, turn my wheelchair off. Well, I tell her that I can't steer, I can't stop, tell her I'm out of control. But guess what day it happens to be? It's April 1st. And she thinks that I'm April fooling her.
Oh no.
And so we get all the way down out to the street, and I look both ways because that's what Mom taught me to do. But I'm thinking, this is going to be bad. Sierra's still on there for a ride, just thinking, wow, I'm getting a lot longer ride from the other kids. And I'm thinking, gosh, we're totally out of control. This is not going to end up good. And so we get about halfway across the street. I'm thinking we're going to crash over there into the curb. My front tires are going to hit the curb. We're going to stop really fast. And I'm probably going to just do a little nose plant out in the grass. But at least, we're going to be stopped and it's probably going to be okay. My wheelchair didn't always go straight when I go up or down a little hill. And the street was kind of humped in the middle out to where, so it would shed water on both sides. So instead of going straight across the street, my wheelchair veers to the right, and now we're going straight north up Forest Street there in Chanute. I turn around, little Sierra's still hanging on the back. I try to tell her again, Sierra, I can't stop her. Turn my wheelchair off. She won't do it. So long story short, I got all these things going through my head about how bad this is going to end up, how out of control we are. My wheelchair, for whatever reason, I didn't even have time to pray. I wasn't even thinking about praying. I was just like freaking out because I thought, we're going to crash, this is going to hurt. I veer to the left, my wheelchair hits my own van, my feet rest were at just the right height where it hit the running boards of my van. And I look down, my feet are sitting perfectly up on top of the feet rest. There's no blood, nothing smashed, nothing broken. Big scratch on the side of my van. And I looked back behind me and there's Sierra still hanging on the back of my chair. Finally I said, Sierra, turn my chair off. And she does. She believes me by now. I said, go inside and get Walter and have him come out here and help me get away from, separated from my van. Because at that point I still didn't know what was wrong with my chair. I didn't know why I couldn't steer, why I couldn't stop. He came out, he helped me figure it out. That little kindergarten girl that tried to run over there, when she kind of grabbed for my chair to try to hop on, and Sierra stiff-armed her, somehow or another they got tangled up in the tube that's connected to this straw. It wraps all the way around the back of my wheelchair, over here to this little box by my knee, and that is what tells my motors, when I blow and suck in this straw, that's what tells my motors when to turn or stop turning. So she had pulled that off, so I couldn't control where we were going at all. I went back inside and I asked Sierra one question. I said, Sierra, where in the world did you think I was taking you? She said, I don't know. I guess maybe I thought you were taking me down to my friend's house or something. And I went home that day and I began to think about her response. And it seemed like God just spoke to me as clear as could be. And he said, Kevin, he said, I want you to trust me with your life like little Sierra trusted you for a ride on the back of your chair. She had no idea where I was taking her. And sometimes in life we have no idea where God's taking us. We may feel like things are totally out of control. We may feel like we don't have any control over which direction we're going, right, left, we can't stop. Things are going crazy. We got circumstances we wish we could change, and things that are going on in our life. We make some mistakes. We get feelings of failure. Maybe we make some bad choices. And then we find ourselves in circumstances that are totally out of our control. And God challenges us to trust. And the thing I find really interesting about it is when I think about Sierra's answer, she said, I thought you were taking me down to my friend's house or something. I see that she had a place in mind that she thought I might be taking her. And I believe that God, as I close this service out today, I want you to listen really close. I believe that God has a place in mind that He wants to take each one of us. Mm-hmm. We can learn from the Bible that in John chapter 14, Jesus says, in my Father's house are many mansions. I'm going to go and I'm going to prepare a place for you. And if I go, then I'm going to come back and receive you unto myself so that you can be where I am. So I want you to know today that God has a home in heaven waiting for you. A place in mind where even if the very worst thing possible happens and you die, but you have a place in heaven that God has prepared for you. But I also want you to realize that while you're here on this earth, God has places in mind that He wants you to take you, that He wants to take you. Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10 says, we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus, which God has prepared. Created in Christ Jesus. We are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus, and that He has good works prepared in advance for us to do. I begin to think about that. I think that God has spent some time thinking about what He wants me to do with my life. He spent some time thinking about what He wants you to do with your life. And my challenge today for each and every one of you is to keep these things in mind. Understand that God has places in mind that He wants to take you. You won't understand where all these places are. You will be like me maybe many times, and you'll wonder, where in the world, God, are you taking me? Trust in God is my main challenge for you today. Learn to live with your unwanted circumstances. Learn to trust that God has a place in mind that He wants to take you.